Welcome to the most awesome Commander podcast in the whole entire world.
I believe that is the name.
That is the name.
How's it going? Today we're going to be talking about lands that you should probably avoid. Traps, poop, garbage, bad lands.
But don't avoid Badlands. It's a good card.
Right.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and this is episode 7 already. Wow.
Yeah. This is episode 7.
Of our podcast. Where can they find this podcast? Besides YouTube.
Spotify,
Okay. iTunes.
and Google Play Store.
Wow, that's like 3 poppin' places.
Yeah, it's available in all 3 of those places. If you like this podcast, subscribe to it. Subscribe to either the Nitpicking channel on YouTube or on any one of those 3. So
Hit
keep
us
up
with
with
a
us.
review and do whatever you feel like, really.
Yeah. Our best review so far is, well, it's in the title.
It's in the title. Okay, we're going to get right into it. First minute of the video. What is the first set of lands that we are talking about? They're usually traps. Avoid them. They're not as good as they seem. They're kind of just probably shouldn't go in many or any EDH decks.
We're going to start with man lands.
Or the PC version, creature lands.
Women lands.
That's not better.
Let's just call them women lands.
I would. It's not better, and I feel like that is some sort of commentary.
It feels like social commentary. So man lands. So most of these are really bad.
Yes,
Let's go through.
They're the lands that turn into creatures for an activation cost, if you don't know.
So we'll start with the green. Or not the green one. No, we're gonna start with the.
There is no green one.
We're not gonna start with the green one. There is a green one.
Yeah, but
it's treetop
oh my
village.
god, we didn't even mention those.
Yeah, there's
Well, those will be separate. These are the 2-color creature lands.
2-color creature lands. Creeping Tar Pit is the best one, probably the most playable.
We actually took like a half hour to debate this. I think the Creeping Tar Pit is the best one. Becomes a 3/2 unblockable. After that, we had Hissing Quagmire becomes a 2/2 Death Touch.
Yeah, so we can trade off. That's not bad.
Not very good. Like neither of these were very good.
I probably would. I don't think on a budget I might play Hissing Quagmire. Creeping Tar Pit. It's not even a budget card. It's more like it's more like I'm playing what I have.
Yeah, that's a trade binder deck.
A trade binder deck would play Creeping Tar Pit. They're not even that good. I wouldn't put them in my decks.
We're going to make distinctions of if we think it's just bad or if we think it's good on a budget. I think Hissing Quagmire is actually pretty good on a budget.
Hissing Quagmire is good on a budget.
Then there's Lava Claw Reaches and Wandering Fumarole, which aren't very good, but there's a corner case that we need to mention before we get comments about it in YouTube. There's 2 4-drops that get +1/+0 or +1/+1 when you activate an ability of a creature or an elemental. So these 2 should go in the deck if you have those guys because they go infinite. If you have an unblocked 4-mana 2/2, man, you got them. That probably will work once, though, actually.
That's not the worst
Like, if
thing.
you like swing with my 2/2, there's like, take it.
I mean,
activate Lava Claw Reaches 100 times.
These are pretty much in the don't play category unless your deck already has to be playing bad cards for this deck to be good.
Don't play Asterix, where maybe one person might want to play them.
Yeah, they fit somewhere. Then there's the other ones. We'll go through them real quickly. Rumbling Falls is a 3/3 hexproof for activates for 4.
Falls.
I said Lumbering Falls. I almost said rumbling again.
I have Lumbering Falls on the deck. It hasn't been very good.
You have it in a
In my
deck?
Rafik deck.
That's weird.
Because they can hit pretty hard.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play it in there.
Not the best. Shambling Vent, that's a trap.
That's
It's
bad.
not big enough. The life gain. Find your other ways to gain life. I'd rather just play a tap land that gains a life, honestly.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to play that either.
Now, Stirring Wildwood is basically useless. It just becomes a 3/4 with Reach. Celestial Colony becomes a 4/4 Vigilance Flyer. That's way too expensive. This is not modern.
Yeah, 5-mana activation cost is not worth it.
That's expensive in modern now. No one has time to do that. You're dead on turn 3. Raging Ravine doesn't do anything. Comes a 3/3. Maybe if you had counter synergies, find a different land. Play Llanowar Reborn.
It doesn't hit hard enough.
No. Needle Spires. This is maybe you would play it in a feather deck, but I don't actually know.
If you're playing a feather deck.
Right, you might just want the other lands that animate cheaper. If you like, because you need a target. But I don't know, you have feather in play, so. Moving on from those, which are majoritarily a trap.
Majority.
We have another trap that I think you should never play. We're going to put this on never play. In the never play category.
Yeah, because I have tried these on more than one occasion.
Me too. I've given them shots and they just fail every time.
Uh,
Ironically, the fast lands.
Yeah,
They're too slow.
The only decks I think they fit in the CDH where like turns 1, 2, and 3 are so utterly important.
That's half the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
So,
but
other than that,
steer
clear.
Steer clear because they don't come in untapped almost ever.
No, and you'll notice it quickly.
So honestly, these are another land cycle that is expensive, but worse than enters tapped to gain a life. or enters
A lot of times,
or enters tapped Scry one.
I mean, I would put these in my deck before enter tapped Gain of Life.
It depends.
I would. I mean,
but Scrylands, crush these. Scrylands are way better.
I don't think Scrylands are way better. I think they are better.
Yes.
I think they're closer than that. But I think it's like when you start getting into like more competitive VDH.
Yeah.
Fast lands can be playable cards.
Because you do want untapped lands, and you don't want. We try to minimize tap lands. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about Scrylands coming up, I think, but not right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. What's next though?
We have Bounce Lands.
The Cycle of Karoo lands from Ravnica block.
So I think BZ put it the best way. If you don't have any synergy with these, you don't want them in your decks at all.
At all. And by synergy, I don't just mean one card where, like, just because you're playing Bajuka Bog doesn't mean you play these.
So the kind of decks, if you're playing things that give you multiple land drops,
Burgeoning, Azusa type creatures.
Yeah, you want the Gruul Turf in your Omnath Locus of Rage deck.
Maybe a deck that cares about putting lands in the graveyard because you're gonna bounce them, and then you can like Faithless Looting them away. You need some aggressive synergy where it's like, I'm happy to draw this before I want to go anywhere near them.
Yeah, I'd probably put these in Lord Windgrace deck too, with the right
Maybe
build.
one or two in a Windgrace deck.
Yeah, it just depends.
Right.
It just depends on the build. I mean, there's decks he's going, but you have to have synergy. Don't throw this into your like Boros deck that has no synergy with lands at all.
No, the one upside is that it's an extra land drop. If you draw an opening hand with Mountain, Boros Garrison, that's 3 land drops. That's not bad, but in EDH, there's just better ways to hit your land drops.
Also, these come in tapped.
They're slow. And land destruction exists. I do not want to get blown out.
Yeah.
If somebody ramps and all they have to do is Acidic Slime, they're going to just completely destroy you.
Yeah, it feels bad every time. I've been there, done that.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I get you just because you played a stupid bounce land.
Yeah, that's like why I blow up Lotus Veil every time I see it. No, what is it? Not Lotus Veil.
Scorch Ruins?
Scorch Ruins. I blow it up every time.
Scorch Ruins is just begging to be blown up.
It's always begging to be blown up, and I always want to blow it up.
You know what? Scorch Ruins is the next one. Don't ever play it.
Yeah, don't ever play Scorch Ruins. I think that card is actively not bad. I think that card is bad.
Risky at best.
It's extremely like mind-bogglingly risky to play at best.
Okay, now, hey, we just talked about these. The Scrylands. Now, why would we put the Scrylands on our Lands to Avoid episode? Because clearly we said they were good.
I mean, we said they were on a level with fast lands that we didn't think were good. So I don't know if they're really.
Well, no.
That's really saying anything.
I think Scrylands are good in 2-color decks.
I think they're fine in 2-color decks.
That's usually my one of tap land. I try to play like 5 or less tap lands. Most of them are usually colorless, and I don't mind the Scryland.
Also, like, I don't hate the fast lands in 2-color decks either.
You know what? Fast lands, 2-color decks, maybe they're okay.
Only because it turns out there's.
I still haven't been happy with it though, because I have a couple 2s.
It's just like a lot of times it feels like you want to have more of those double sources, which I guess you can just Well, the thing is, there's just not enough to fill in. You want, like, especially when you're playing Niv Mizzet.
You mean enemy colors? Enemy colors have repeatedly gotten shafted on cycles of lands. So you're down a few. You don't have the Ender's Tap cycling lands. You don't have the Prairie Stream Tango lands.
Tango lands, yep.
You don't have some other things that we don't need to get into, but you're just missing out a few things.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Niv Mizzet. Steam Vents was the most important card in the whole deck.
Yeah, because you can't fetch. We just mentioned the other 2 things have types. It's so important, and you just can't fetch for them.
Yep, and you can't. And it feels terrible. And then
because it's annoying, like Steam Vents, Steam Vents, Steam Vents, Steam Vents, Steam Vents.
The number of times playing that deck that I couldn't cast Niv Mizzet in turn 6 because the land base was so shaky.
Shaky. But the Scrylands I like in 2-color decks. We do not like them in 3 colors or 4 colors. You're going to start overloading on tap lands, and once you play too many tap lands, you just get behind a whole turn.
A whole turn? That's one whole turn?
Turns are big.
Speaking turns are really big in EDH. You have to wait for 3 other players to take one to get yours back.
Speaking of lands that are tapped that we wouldn't play in 3-color decks,
the come into play tri lands.
We have these slotted as never play, whereas the rest of them had caveats.
The only caveat to this is budget.
Right.
That's it.
We can't stop budget. Budget, you can put 85 basics in your deck if you want to. That's fine.
I mean, there's always a caveat for budget. Like, let's be clear. The whole list has a caveat for budget.
Yeah. If that wasn't clear.
Yeah, I mean, you always are going to have to caveat for budget because the fact is, these lands are fine in a deck that is budget. But if you're building a mana base and you want to be somewhat ideal, I would avoid these at all costs.
Yes, they are too slow. They don't give you anything other than mana fixing, which you can get elsewhere for better at untapped lands. And also, I don't There's one honorary tap tri-land I guess we should mention, Murmuring Bosk. I think that card is good because that's his forest.
Yeah, that's fetchable.
You can fetch it. If you have Tree Folk, it comes in untapped anyway.
Yeah.
So that card's way different, but these 10 I would not play.
No, yeah, they just come in. They automatically come in untapped every single time.
Yeah, if you have them in your deck and you're like, well, what should I replace it with? Just any other dual land, honestly. Anything that enters untapped.
Yeah, it's just something for 2 colors.
Mana
It's fine.
Confluence, Forbidden Orchard, City Brass,
Reflecting pool.
Reflecting Pool. I mean, those are a little bit more expensive, but that's what you can upgrade to.
Yeah, I mean,
You work towards it, yeah.
we're saying we already have the caveat of budget, so it's
Right.
like obviously we're suggesting cards that are more
It's
expensive.
not just like Reflecting Pool is better than Celestia Guildgate. Like that's not the podcast.
Yeah, we understand that people are on budgets. If you're on a budget, I think Tri-Lands are a fine budget card.
Sure, definitely. I always kind of wanted to build a budget deck, but I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know what my budget would be.
I don't like setting arbitrary restrictions on myself.
That's like EDH. You set arbitrary restrictions. Like I want to play a token deck.
Like, that's not that arbitrary though, because it's like I want to play this commander who does this thing. It's like that's fair, and like the idea is like you build around the commander.
Oh, you mean like my arbitrary restrictions where the deck is all 1-drops?
Yeah, I don't like things like that, or every card has orange in it.
I love those those are.
I don't
those are
like
great.
I don't like doing that.
Restriction breeds creativity. Although that orange deck, I think
It's bad.
I just don't play it anymore. I've taken cards out of it because I need them because that mana base is like really expensive. I looked at it. There's like City of Brass in there. There's a bunch of shock lands. I
Just
was like,
take it apart.
It basically already is. It's out of commission.
It's been out of commission.
Quite
I
good stuff.
hated that deck.
All right, we have 2 cards that are very, very overplayed. Next,
Starting with Rogue's Passage. This goes in some decks.
just because your commander has 5 power does not mean you want Rogue's Passage.
So with Rogue's Passage, you want it in a deck like, let's say Kozilek, where you get a ton of like slots for that kind of stuff, and then he's a 2-hit kill.
A, you have 10 of slots. B is literally a 2-hit kill,
It's-
where that matters.
Or if you're playing something like Voltron.
Voltron, you probably want a Rogue's Passage. Once it gets to 3 colors, that's still pretty sketchy.
Like I see this in a lot of decks that is just like, this is my 4-color. Like I wouldn't. Okay, an example of a deck I would absolutely not put it in that people would be like, it looks like it fits, is Girid.
The Conclave guy.
The Conclave guy. When he attacks, he populates.
Where you want to protect him. But you don't.
You don't.
It's not worth taking the small hit on your mana base for an effect that you'll never use.
It's enough. It's just not worth it. The token would have to be something insane for you to want to do that.
I've probably had 20 plus decks over the years. A couple of them have had Rose Passes. The only one I've liked it in is Skullbriar. Because he can just smash somebody. He gets to 20 power easily. 21.
Like even in Rafiki, like you're just able to get Rafiki trample.
Yeah, Rafiki, just give him trample, flying, protection from all colors. Doesn't matter. You don't need Rogue's Passage.
Yeah.
You want them. That deck really needs this mana on time, as a 3-color Voltron. Where you're like, okay, I need double green, and I need to hold up blue for a counterspell, and I need to play a double white card. Rogue's Passage doesn't do those things.
Rogue's Passage costs 4 mana to activate to give a creature
Opportunity cost.
unblockable.
That's your whole turn.
Know what I don't like? This is random. Unblockable is not a keyword.
It gains unblockable. That sounds dumb.
It just sounds like it could be a keyword. Like this creature is unblockable. Like
That's a sentence. That's not a keyword.
it can't. Yeah, I know, but they have to use a sentence.
Ugh.
Can't
This
be-
creature gains. This
This
creature is
creature
unblockable?
can't be blocked.
How are you going to put that on a card?
What
What if it has flying and unblockable?
Well, the cards say this creature can't be blocked.
So this is flying and this creature can't be blocked.
That's what creatures that can't be blocked say.
So how is that a keyword?
I'm just saying, unblockable feels like it is a keyword.
Flying unblockable.
Yeah.
Gains unblockable.
Gains unblockable sounds really weird, but I don't know. It just sounds like a keyword to me.
Loses unblockable.
Sounds like a keyword to me. I don't know. It just does.
Well, we have Reliquary Tower. People think that because they play card draw, which every deck that has ever existed should play, they need to play Reliquary Tower.
This only fits in decks with extreme card draw.
People trap themselves too. They play graveyard decks and they play this.
Wait, what?
Where you want to discard to hand size, but they still put it in. Because people are greedy and they like their cards. I don't think you typically need more than 7 cards to kill somebody in most cases. Like, if you do 20, that's fine. But it's okay if you discard. The card selection is still important, and you can still probably destroy people with the cards you keep. I do that with Necrophones all the time. Draw 10. Okay, I'm fine keeping 7.
Draw 10, discard.
Not even
3.
discard. Exile. I don't care. I have the best selection ever. My hand's very good now, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Reliquary Tower is just like, and I know this has been talked about. It's not like we're the first to talk about this. It's just in way too many decks.
And I'm actually, I'm getting word that we're the first people to talk about this. Breaking news. Reliquary Tower. Shouldn't go on every deck.
It
Don't
shouldn't
just
go
jam it
in.
in your blue decks.
It doesn't go in most decks.
Maybe mono blue.
It goes in like something like blue-red decks that draw a ton. Like there's decks like that. Like,
Yeah, there are.
There's like Locust God and Infinite Perun decks.
Where they
that
actively drawing cards is like their main priority because that's how they win.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's different. Like it's not that it fits in no decks. It's just like
Right.
you don't want to just shove this into your like mono green deck. It's like
Or
what?
even like there's some weird decks where, oh my, what's the Crewfix deck? Like Crewfix already says you have no hand size. You don't need to double down on that.
Yeah, you definitely don't need it in your Crewfix deck. Have you seen it in a Crewfix deck?
I think so, yeah.
Ah, you really?
Either
Weird.
something someone has submitted to me, like, hey, look this over, or something someone has played.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen it in Crewfix deck.
All right.
But that being said,
Oh, and you know what else killed Reliquary Tower a lot is Thought Vessel.
Thought Vessel is a much better
That card
card.
is way better.
So Thespian Stage, Dark Depths, the combo that a lot of people play in a deck. And now the Dark Depths is a card actually for 20 ice counters. You pay 3 mana to remove them.
10 ice counters.
Okay. I know it costs 1.5 million mana.
It's like 60 mana for a 2020. Okay, we have these listed as never play.
I want to be clear on this one because like I have this combo listed as never play, but I play Thespian Stage in some decks.
Thespian Stage is a good card, I think.
Yeah, it fits into certain decks.
It's not bad.
Dark Depths, this combo you don't really want to shove into decks.
I understand that Lands Matter decks exist, Lord Windgrace decks exist. There are better things to be doing than making a 2020 that doesn't really have any sort of evasion except for flying. It gets squished by, or not squished, it gets just completely,
What happens to it?
it gets nullified by all these staples like Cyclonic Rift and swords that are running around. Sacrifice effects still take it down. It just gets chumped all the time. It takes 6 hits to win the game with. You have to sacrifice a land to actually do it. It requires 3 lands with Thespian Stage to tap. You have to play Dark Depths, which doesn't produce any mana. What a bunch of hoops to jump through for nothing.
For a 2020 that can two-shot players. But
People know how we feel about Blightsteel Colossus. This is the land version of Blightsteel Colossus. It's never going to do anything.
It is. I just want to say, like, so in a Lord Windgrace deck specifically, like, assembling this combo as compared to assembling the combo of, so how much better is Urborg Cabal Coffers?
To try to get so much better.
You get both those lands and you get this like huge amount of mana, or you get a 2020. What would you rather?
I would rather have 5 mana extra on one turn than a 2020.
Yeah, I agree. It's like in the Lord Windgrace deck on that same. We'll just keep talking about the Lord Windgrace deck because that's like the deck
we do know it has indestructible. That's still.
Yeah,
We didn't mention it, but we know it has indestructible. I would still take 5 mana.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take 5 mana because like it's something like a Lord Windgrace deck. You can just like you got to worry about land destruction on like Cabal Coffers, but it's like you can just rebuy it.
Like,
Yeah, like I just keep mentioning Lord Windgrace because he's
this is the only deck it would go in, or it's at least the number one deck people would say, hey man, why are you hating on this combo?
because there's better combos.
Someone's going to comment saying, I won a game once.
I mean, people have definitely won games with Dark Depth.
Sure.
People have won games with Blightsteel Colossus. Doesn't mean we're going to say play those cards in your deck.
Right. Results-oriented thinking is a thing that exists.
And isn't that a fallacy?
Confirmation bias, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fallacy.
Yeah, fallacious. Y'all fallacious. Okay. What is the next card?
Glacial Chasm. This is one where you lose 2 life. Cumulative upkeep.
Cumulatively, yeah.
Upkeep, lose 2 life. It's a land, doesn't produce mana, and you can't.
Parental damage that would be dealt to you.
Yeah, but you can still lose life.
Yes, you can still get extorted.
You can still get
Gray
extorted.
merchanted and sanguinated.
That's the Deathless.
Torment of Hailfire. But it prevents damage dealt to you. You basically can't be attacked. It's pretty good. It just doesn't fit in every deck.
It fits in almost no decks.
Now, since this is the lands, we're going to bring up Lord Windgrace a lot because that's kind of the litmus test of does it go in a lands deck?
Yeah, it goes.
This kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, and
But almost exclusively decks where you never pay cumulative upkeep and you just keep getting it back for free. That's where you want it.
yeah, exactly. Decks where you're playing like.
The Get Rock Monster comes to mind.
Yep, they're just playing things that let you play lands from your graveyard back to play.
Yeah, Crucible of Worlds, Ramming Up Excavator, stuff like Azusa where you play extra land, so it doesn't matter that you're missing out on a land that doesn't have for mana.
Yeah, but it just again, these cards are cards that you can't just not think and throw in a deck because a lot of people do that.
You can't just go, I'm a control deck, so I want Glacial Chasm.
Yeah, so buy me 2 turns and then
Yeah, maybe that'll do something, but you're just going to, there's better tools.
take into consideration that if you're not going to be recurring it, Glacial Chasm is 10 life for 4 turns of protection.
Which, if someone's going infinite, might not matter.
Yep.
They'll just wait and then nuke you. Or you're going to be under the gun for, you have 4 turns extra, but maybe there was something else that gets you out of it and just solves the problem. Or if you had better mana earlier, you could solve the problem. Or you're short on mana. Any number of things.
And not producing mana is huge.
Speaking of which, Maze of Ith we have as basically never play.
There's just...
You know what really pushed this card out of the format? Thematic Compass. That card is amazing. It's so good.
Thematic Compass is a 2-mana artifact. Pay 3, tap it, search your library for a basic land, put it in your hand. And then, if you control 7 or more lands at the end of turn, it flips into a Maze of Ith.
That taps for mana.
Which is why it's so much better.
This ramps you, it taps for mana, it fixes you if you're missing land drops.
It helps. It can also get you. It can also color fix you.
Yeah, it can color fix you. It can unland screw you. That card is amazing, and Maze of Ith doesn't even come close to being as good.
No, not at all. And Maze of Ith not tapping for mana is another huge downside.
What a detriment. I don't want that. That's why we are... Okay, I guess that card's going to be coming up soon, but that's why we hate another card on this list.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute.
All right, what do we got here? This is a metagame card that everybody seems to love, and they think they've solved everything. What do we...
Homeward Path. I don't know.
This protects against creatures being stolen, but so does any board wipe, doesn't it? This can't protect from the real threats like blatant thievery, stealing your lands, expropriate, winning them the game on the spot.
Stealing your lands. Like if you have Homeward Path, they'll just take your lands. It's not going to be any better for you. They can just take Homeward Path. They can take Homeward Path and 2 other creatures. I've had to take Homeward Path before with the blatant thievery.
That doesn't do anything except save you one of your permanents. But you can't. But it's tough to beat a blatant thievery anyway, because now you can't stop it. I don't see the tech for Homeward Path.
It's too metagamey.
It doesn't fix your mana.
Like, how often does this card do nothing?
Always.
A vast majority of the time.
And we might as well lump the next one in, Arcane Lighthouse. That just stops hexproof creatures, but there's other ways to stop hexproof creatures.
Arcane Lighthouse is bad.
I think Arcane Lighthouse is like pretty bad.
Like,
I don't even see the meta aspect to it.
Yeah, like Homeward Path, that's like, okay, you're playing against somebody who plays some sort of like only play my stuff deck.
Right.
Because those decks exist.
They're going to steal like your Dragonlord Silumgars and those kind of decks.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's actually okay to metagame with. Don't metagame with Arcane Lighthouse. It's bad.
Right. I mean, you can only take so many stances against Blatant Thievery. I mean, Homeward Path is something you can do. I don't even necessarily recommend metagaming that much in general. I think if you just build your deck with certain things in mind and you can play better removal spells than what you're necessarily playing. I don't know if that sounds like I'm just saying if you have metagame problems, you're bad. That's not what I'm saying.
That sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like you're just playing devil's advocate.
It sounds like you're saying if you don't metagame, you're bad.
That's not what I said. It sounds like you're just taking the other side.
It did sound like you the way you said it was.
Well, I put a disclaimer afterwards.
You
so
said I don't know how to. If you don't know how to build decks, then you might have metagame problems.
Is that what I said?
Basically.
Oh my god. Well, that's not what I mean. I mean, if you were better, you wouldn't have metagame problems.
I know what you meant, and you said it.
Oh no. Okay. We're not calling anybody bad.
Yeah, you are. You just called everyone who has metagame problems bad.
That was part of the joke.
It doesn't matter. You said it.
Well, this is our last episode of the podcast.
If you want to take that out of context, feel free.
Arcane Lighthouse is really bad. Homeward Path, I literally forgot what it's called, is very mediocre and will not do the things you want it to do. How about that?
That's better. Arcane Lighthouse is bad. I don't know what that card does at all.
So you're taking a stance against that.
Yeah, I just don't see when. I see the situations when you potentially want it, but it's so narrow and like so specific. It's like hexproof is not that like unbeatable. It's also not everywhere.
Yeah, there's Fleshbag Marauder, there's Crackling Doom, there's Barter in Blood, there's the new Liliana, there's any board wipe.
There's Ball is Dust.
All is Dust, yeah.
Yeah, Ball is Dust.
So I just figured we'd say the actual name so they know.
They know what Ball is Dust is.
Right, of course they do.
Who doesn't know what Ball is Dust is?
I've had more negative experiences with this next card than any other card, I think.
Really?
Maybe Expropriate is higher, but Temple of the False God.
That card.
Temple of the False God has shafted me so many times that I think I'm never playing it again. Never playing it again. I hate that card.
It's your 4th land drop every game.
It's always your 4th land drop, and then you miss your land drop. Sure, it's nice late in the game. It's like, ooh, little extra mana. That's cool.
Oh, a Soul Ring.
But I'd rather have Mountain if it's going to be in my opening hand. It gums up opening hands. There's opening hands where it's like Soul Ring, Temple of the False God, and then a bunch of spells you can play. And you're just like, I have to mulligan this. But I'd keep it if it was any land. So annoying.
I have not had that negative an experience with it. I don't have it in any of my decks right now, but I've had it in decks, and I've not felt that bad about it.
I definitely don't like it in 3-color decks. Maybe there can still be a conversation for monocolor decks.
Mm-hmm.
But in 3-color decks, whew, this feels horrible.
It feels like it fits into like a mono red deck where you really don't have much ramp.
I have a mono red deck. I actually don't know if this is still in it because I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, mono red.
But I went on a
Dargans.
crusade of taking out Temple of the False God in all my decks.
You went on a crusade? You gave all your white creatures +1/+1?
They all have +1/+1.
That's
All right, we
good.
got 3 more, and then 2 more after that.
This is a little cycle of...
It's not a cycle.
Okay, they're all the same exact thing.
Cards that exist.
These are cards that exist that all do the same thing.
What is that thing?
They are a rainbow land.
Okay.
When they enter the battlefield, tapped.
Okay.
And when they enter it, sacrifice them unless you pay 1 mana.
We're talking about Rupture Spire, Gateway Plaza, Transguild Promenade.
So all these, like, they are the same card. One of them is a gate, I think,
The Gateway Plaza is a gate, which means it's the best one.
technically.
You can search it with Circuitous Route.
That's true. You can get it out with Circuitous Route, and then
Creeping
you have to pay the mana.
Vine Creeper, whatever that thing's called.
Creeping Vine Creeper.
The 0/2 that can find a gate. Maze's End.
Watch out for Creeping Vine Creeper. I'm just gonna stick with that.
We
name.
don't like these unless you're on a budget, and I wouldn't play them in 2-color decks ever.
Oh no, not even on a budget.
3 will be fine. You can put them in and then upgrade them slowly and get them out of
Yeah,
there.
this was the card I played when I first started EDH.
Yeah, it was fine. Sure.
It was fine then. Yeah.
You want to build a $50 deck, $20 deck? Maybe you want these in there.
Yeah, I had them in. What was I playing? Oh, my first Maelstrom Wonder deck. The first build of it
Oh,
had
wow.
these in it.
I want to
Had
go back. I
one
want
of
to take your first build of Maelstrom Wonder and my first build of Carador and just magically have those again, because they would be so like suboptimal.
I mean, you've played against my first build of Maelstrom Wonder, but it was with like probably your 50th build of Carador at the
I've
time.
had that deck for so long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like by the time I had built that deck, you'd already had your Carador deck together and everything.
That's fair. All right. There's 2 more lands we got to talk about, and then we're done.
We get to talk about my least favorite one.
This is your least favorite land in all of Commander?
Okay, it's not my least favorite land in all of Commander. It is.
Wait, why don't we save it for the end then? And you can just go off.
Okay.
And we can keep our composure for the cycle of Kamigawa legendary lands. Now, I think the black one is really good. I think the red one is okay. The black one gives a legendary creature fear, and the red one, Shinka, gives a legendary creature first strike.
Shinka.
The black one is Shizo. Yeah.
Shizo and Shinka.
Shizo and Shinka are the good ones.
And
And
then-
the rest are pretty poop.
They're pretty horrible. The only deck that I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for like putting these in the decks. They fit randomly into
Kethis?
Kethis. Yes,
They go perfectly in Kethis.
They fit in Kethis.
Like Ijango Castle prevents 2 damage. The green one gives a legendary creature +1/+1. And I think the blue one untaps, and that one might be okay in certain decks.
But almost no decks. But
We like these because they will enter to untapped, and they're basically a plains with other stuff on it. Often plains is better.
yeah, it's a lot of times planes just being better.
If you ever run out of basics, you're just like, boy, I wish that was the plains.
I mean, it just doesn't do. Jono is just never going to
There's
do
not
enough.
much combat in Commander.
There's
There really is not that much.
There's not enough combat that preventing 2 damage ever matters.
Most of the combat I have is deals and like, can I hit you, or I need to hit you. Like, I'm gonna hit you because you're open, and they're like, yeah.
No, you've been playing a mono white deck. That has a lot of combat in
That
it.
deck has combat, but
Your Rafik has a lot of combat.
kinda. It's close because no one can ever block Rafik, so it doesn't really matter. And my Voltron deck, no one blocks anything.
Skullbriar.
In the token decks, every creature is just indisposable, so it doesn't matter. It just ends up not. I never have wanted that.
I mean, combat EDH is not like combat
That's
in
what I'm saying.
other
It's
formats. That's
way
for sure.
different. So +1/+1 might be good in Kamigawa Limited, but it's not good in Commander.
+1/+1 is worthless. Yeah, that's worthless.
Not good. So be wary of those lands that aren't the red and black ones, because you might get burned.
Yeah, unless you're playing Kethis, then you put them in because that's sweet.
Jam them in.
They work in Kethis.
The last one. I'll let you take this one.
I can't stand this card. I've seen a lot of people play it.
It's in. Wait, how many decks is it in EDH Rec? Let's find out.
Are you for real?
It's in 13,728 decks.
Hold on. Holy crap! People are
What?
Why? It doesn't do anything.
Read the card.
Halimar Depths. Halimar Depths enters is a tapped, comes into play tapped.
Yep.
Taps for a blue.
Okay.
When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3, put them back in any order. Okay.
Of your library.
Of your library. They go back on top of your library. This is worthless. This is a top activation. You're getting a top activation
for a one color tap
for a tap land.
It is in 13,000 decks, almost 14,000.
This land is horrendous. This land is not good.
We saw it in a Yarok the Desecrated deck, which made us laugh.
Yeah,
Why would you want to rearrange top 3 twice?
It doesn't do anything. It's like activating top. I'll activate top. Hold on. In response, I'll activate top. It's so stupid.
We think this land is garbage. The only deck you might want to play it in is Yennet. Specifically Yennet.
Yeah, who cares about like if the top card of your library is odd, right? Yeah.
But it's
also like
so inefficient. It's so bad. It's not a budget card. It's just a bad card, we think.
Oh, I absolutely. This of all these cards on this list, like BZ's probably is Temple of the False God, but like this card, I would never put this in a deck. I think it is horrendously bad.
It's very, very subpar. It's just worse than an island. It's worse than a Scry land. It's worse than a cycling land.
It's worse. It's almost always worse than an island. It's like it's slightly better than an island. Some random times when you're in like a desperate, when you're only gonna get one more turn, I don't even know. It's so bad. It's like I know it's not strictly worse than island. I know that.
I know sometimes that matters.
Yeah, but it doesn't enough. And in early turns when you need all your untapped mana,
you're just gonna wish this was anything else.
Yeah. It's a top activation.
And what if you don't have the cards to fix your draws? Then you're just like, okay, well now I know the top 3 cards, and I'm drawing a land sooner.
Yeah, you get to brainstorm lock yourself.
Yeah, brainstorm locks without the card draw.
Yeah, if you don't have a shuffle effect, you're just stuck drawing those 3 cards anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Oh boy, if I stay away from this card, is basically all we can say. You were warned.
This is I'm not joking. Like, I want to go off on this card even more. I don't know what else to say about it, though, because I've seen people play this, and every time I do, I'm like, just stop playing that card. That card's bad.
Yes.
We've
seen it in control decks. We've seen it in, what other decks? Like self-mill decks and stuff like that, and just get it out.
Oh, it's so bad.
Our official quote is,
the thing is, I keep looking at this card. I just want to keep going off on it for how bad it is. Like, 13,000 decks is insane.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of decks. And I understand it's cheap, but I would rather play Island probably 95% of the time.
I'd rather play one less land. Replace it with a card draw spell. I don't know. We hate it. But I think now we were going to talk about the cycle of one color creature lands, but I don't think we really need to.
No, they're fine. I mean, I don't think I'd ever play them, but
they have First Strike, Trample, Vigilance, Flying, and Regenerate, respectively, and maybe if you have tribal synergies, you can play them. That's all we're really going to say.
Yeah,
they're subpar.
Yeah,
so we're going to close out the podcast. I think it was another successful day. A lot of ranting.
Not a ranting. Halimar Depths sucks.
We don't get to be the nitpicking nerds all the time.
Yeah.
It's good to be nitpicky.
We were definitely nitpicking this episode.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm going to go off. I just want to go off on, the thing about Halimar Depths that really makes me go off even more is I see people play it, and I've seen it in person.
People defend it.
And it's like, I think this card's fine. It's like, it's not. It's not fine. It is probably the worst card in your deck, and your deck is a pre-con. All
right, so we're going to close it out by thanking all 21 of our patrons.
Oh, it's your week.
It's my week to shout out a random patron. I am going to shout out Dustin St. Wright, because he has been our patron forever.
Oh my goodness. It's like, because I haven't seen, he's always just been on there.
See, I was watching, this came to me because I was watching one of our old videos. It was like Commander Quickies, the mana base one, I think. The second Commander Quickies. And then we, at the end of the video, said, special thanks to our patrons, Adam and Dustin. Because that was it.
Oh my God. I remember.
And I was like, holy crap, this guy's been here forever.
Yeah, we really can't. Adam's actually, he's been on and off, but he's back. He's
back in action.
He's back in action. He's one of our patrons right now. He's on this card. He gets a shout out too, I guess.
It's
so
like that was 4 months ago. And now we have 21.
Now we have 21. We can't even list them all because it would take too much time every time.
Yeah, but we love you enough that
No,
you're not uncomfortable.
We love you the maximum amount
Thank you.
possible.
I can never get it.
without making you uncomfortable. So like we're loving you so much, and you're like just about to feel like a little uncomfortable.
But you're
and
like,
we're good.
Right.
We're good. So if you want to be a patron, actually, you can head over to patreon.com/user/nitpicking nerds, and you can support us too. 4 more patrons, and we're going to be doing it. Ask us anything.
From patron-only questions. And you can check this podcast out on Google, like we said, iTunes, and the last one, to forget, is Spotify.
It is Spotify. And, because I already got my fingers up, peace out, Trap Scout. You didn't do it.
Bye.
You got to say bye.